the longest expression I've ever written. I made these so that I could add this transition feature for the Mosaic Pro tool. Now I'll show you how that works and how you can make that work in a little bit, because I've been working on, first of all, all of these are 30 different preset animation effects, right? So if you add these to your Fusion composition that has all your pictures or elements, then you just press play and then there's a default animation that you can also then later on change and adjust however you want. You have here the initial position and then the ending position that would be the scale. I forgot to actually change the names of these still, but I'll probably do it in an update later on, right? But if you're familiar with Fusion, you will probably be familiar with how they work. So basically there's 30 different preset animations that you can just drag and drop to your projects so that you can mix them up like that. And you can modify these and modify the curves, add custom curves, as I mentioned in the previous video as well. Now, the reason why I left these as a group is also so that you can go into Fusion and then take a look at these in a 3D view type of thing, right? So if we press here, 2, and what I like to do is I press 2 on the 3D space and then 1 on this 2D space, so we can still see it, how it would look on the viewer. And then this is the 3D space right here. That way you can just modify things a little bit more easily, and then you can actually see the curve right here, although you cannot really select it because they are anim curves, but that's how they work. So you can modify all of these. Let me show you the expression that I built for the actual transition. So the idea I had for these was that somebody mentioned that, yeah, a transition would be cool, but how do we make this work, right? You want something that you can just drag and drop, but then if you had to go and modify things and manually put the position where the picture was, that just becomes a whole mess and it's just complicated and it doesn't actually speed up your workflow that much. So this is the transition that I use to add to the control for the initial point and also the ending point of the transition. Let me show you right here. And I'm not a developer. I actually asked Accession for help and he sent me this one and I couldn't make these work. This is in Lua basically, I think. And yeah, I'm not a developer. I just create stuff and then somehow make things work at the end, right? So just experimenting. So this is what I ended up. I knew the if-then expression, but what I didn't know is how to stack the if-then expression to make this work here in the transition section that allows you to have a starting point, right? Like a drop-down menu. That way, if you choose, let's say 6, now the starting point will update to be 6, which is 6 right here. And that's why there's the guide of these as well, so that you can know where you want the starting point to be. And then if you want a custom one, you can just move these like that as well. But I just added that just in case somebody doesn't want it to start right in the middle or whatever. Also, you can mix these up with the animation presets because the actual preset, the initial position and the scale are set up by the transition controls, but the actual Z or the camera like closing in or being far away is actually controlled here in the Z offset. So you can still modify things around here, and you can also adjust the curves and put a custom curve and all that stuff. But let me show you the expression. Once again, I keep jumping around. So this is the expression and how it works. The basic expression works like this. Let's just put +6 right here so we can see it. So this is how the basic expression works, the if-then expression works. So that means that if whatever value you put is equal to whatever number you have, then you want the thing that's connected to it to give this result. And if it's not, then this result. Now, I thought there has to be a way to have this part right here changed so that it still gives you another option to have like a basically stacking them, right? So if this one is not the option, try this one, and then if that's not, try that one, and so on. And I think it over the weekend, X session send me that code. I tried out, but I couldn't make it work. But then I decided, okay, let me just try something. And this is one of the things that I tried, which was I added that if it's exactly the same, but instead of having this number right here, I tried it. What if I copy that same expression in here again so it starts over? And I made it work, but then it stopped working again. And I was like, what is going on? There's no way. So the thing is that there was these parentheses right here that was not supposed to be here if you want it to work. So if you just add that expression like that, and it actually has to be the double I expression. So basically a copy paste without that parentheses in that section. And then you can just keep adding more to them. So that's how we become these super long expression that I ended up pasting right here into a hidden control. Well, it's not hidden, it's here in the settings section. I put that in the starting point value, which is a screw control. So that way, whatever you select here, let's say 4, then this one returns a value here that sets the position for the camera. Now, let's go back to the expression. Okay, so then why do we have a couple of them? Well, we do need one for the X, for the initial point, and then we also need a vertical one. So I have 2 of them. And then I just made that calculation. And then the way that it works when it's stacked is that you just copy that initial one right here again. And then before it ends, it doesn't have a closing parentheses all the way until the end. And that's how you make these work. And then here is the last one, which has a custom point. That is this custom starting point right here. So if you just custom point, then it just moves to wherever you want it to be. Now, the important thing when you want to try expressions like that is that you make sure that the closing parentheses is also the same amount as the opening parentheses. Because that's one thing that happened, that the parentheses took me a ton of time to figure out why it was not working, because it seemed to be working and then it stopped working. And that was the thing. You have to pay attention to those small details if you ever work with these type of expressions to try to create control. And now, actually, somebody that does have a bunch of videos for people that are interested in learning more about the developer or more code and expression type of things is Asher, who has a channel. I can't remember the name. I forgot the name of it right now, but let me see. Yeah, his name is Asher Roland. His channel name is Asher Roland as well. So if you're interested in like learning more about actual code and Lua and all that stuff, then you should check out his channel. He has a bunch of videos that are really useful for that stuff. So that is how I created the longest expression I've ever used in DaVinci Resolve to create this drop-down menu to create or to add the option to have a starting point and an ending point. Okay, enough rambling. I guess it's good for you to know the process of what goes into like building these type of tools, so that you guys can appreciate everybody that's building tools and spending a ton of time experimenting and stuff like that. So how do we make these work if you want it to work in an actual project? So I didn't save these as a normal transition on purpose, because it wouldn't have worked as I wanted it that way, because you cannot really stack that many clips in that. So you want to have the same process of having a fusion clip with all the media, like all the images or videos that you want to use, and then you're gonna set the starting point and the ending point. So the duration is dynamic, so whatever you set the duration, that's however your transition is gonna last, right? But then what you want to do is open this in timeline, find that first picture, and then find that second picture, copy and paste it. Now go to your main timeline again, or whichever you're working on, and we're gonna paste them right there. And I'm just gonna do these real quick like that. And now I'm going to do these. We have that ship. Then we have that animation that goes like that, and then it goes into the next one. Now it's lagging a little bit right now, but then we have that transition to the next one. And if you want, you just make these smaller, let's say 1.16 seconds. Then it will be a lot faster, and then we'll go into the next one like that as well. So that is the update and the story about how I use that super long expression to make these new feature for the Mosaic Pro tool. So if you want to check out the Mosaic Pro tool, make sure to check the link below. I'll put it right there. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? And maybe what other projects I should look into for near future. If you watched the video all the way through here, make sure to just leave a comment. Let me know that you watched it. That way the video can get recommended to more people, and more people can know about what goes into building these tools, and maybe they find these tools helpful as well. Thanks for watching once again. I'll see you in the next one here on SUALVI. Bye.